Hi, I'm Dave, and this is Dave's Worldview. Hey, recently I got involved with the school board. I got involved with some helping to elect some candidates, and I've spoken at the school board a couple times in the last month. And I just wanted to share with you some information that I shared, with the school board, basically focusing on how the Democratic Party is using teachers' unions, basically as a political action committee to indoctrinate students in our public schools. I think it's some good information. I think it's things that we all need to do, and I think there's some things we can try to do about it. One of the main things we need to do is we need to try to get the unions out of our schools, or we need to get school vouchers for our students. Probably need audio-visual equipment inside of our schools so we can see exactly what they're teaching our kids. And they seem to be intent on trying to teach things that the parents are totally rejecting. So in situations like that, I think the only thing we can do is not trust but verify. So anyhow, stay tuned. Hope you enjoy the video. We all owe a debt of gratitude to teachers that educate children. And while I respect diverse opinions, that respect does not extend to those who knowingly use public schools to indoctrinate children. Focusing on race in critical theory is the goal of a political party that uses racism for political gain. CRT does precisely what Martin Luther King Jr. condemned. It judges all people by the color of their skin and not the content of their character. We have seen people from all races and ethnicities denouncing CRT. All you got to do is Google school board critical race theory. You'll see women, men, blacks, Hispanics condemning CRT. But CRT is only the tip of the spear in critical theory. According to a critical theory forms of oppression chart, men oppress women. White people oppress people of color. Heterosexuals oppress LGBTQ people. Non-trans people oppress transgender. Non-disabled people oppress disabled. Adults oppress youth and elders, and Christians oppress all other religions. Now, critical theory condemning Christians is particularly alarming, not just because I'm a Christian, but because the persecution of Christians and other faith groups is common to all totalitarian regimes. I have watched at least 5 Americans that fled communism claim that what they see here with critical theory is eerily familiar. Conspicuously absent from their critical theory oppression chart is how 20% of people on the far left oppress the other 80% of Americans. Critical theory is the epitome of hate speech. It is brainwashing and confronts challengers by name-calling, bullying, and canceling anyone who dares to speak against it. Leftists routinely call over half the country white supremacists, misogynists, homophobes, transphobes, deplorables, and dregs. And I didn't appreciate, sometime Trump, I thought, his name-calling, but I think he was trying to, it's almost like a Stockholm syndrome. I think he was trying to wake people up. The left has been calling us names for a decade. And when they call people names, they're calling over half the country these names. And Trump was just calling individual people that he got into a tiff with. He would call them out. And it seemed kind of childish, but this is the childish crap that the left has been doing to the right for over a decade. Anyhow, worst of all, critical theory rips the scabs off wounds from our country's past while offering no hope for healing or forgiveness in the present. Many scholars have warned that critical theory is rooted in cultural Marxism. It is the perfect tool to divide and destroy a nation. Now, I happen to believe it was Marxist revolutionaries incited by critical theory that took advantage of peaceful protests following the tragic death of George Floyd to loot and burn our cities and kill approximately 25 of our fellow Americans in the process. And recently we have seen that people can't peacefully protest when a man claiming to be transgender exposes himself to young girls without being physically assaulted by fascist anti-fascists. And what I'm talking about, in California, this adult male exposed themselves to underage girls, and when people tried to protest this, indecent exposure is illegal in every state in the union except for California. When people tried to protest this, Antifa came out after the protesters that were peacefully protesting. Now, Now, this is another issue. Leftists are master manipulators of the social lexicon and morph their vocabulary when exposed. And I'm saying this because we're talking about these unions and what's going on in our schools. So critical theory masquerades as equity training, social justice, or diversity and inclusion. They'll say they're not teaching critical theory. They'll just change the name of it. Stay informed. And it's not only Democrats doing this damage. Watch out for Republicans in name only. They campaign as Republicans when necessary, but kowtow to leftists. Switching gears. There's people that at these when I went to the school board meeting, people said this isn't supposed to be a political entity. And these are people on the left. And it's easy for them to say, and I'm going to show you why. I think it's disingenuous or naive to hope that the school board would not be a political entity. The largest union in the United States, the National Education Association, and the Democratic Party marching in lockstep guarantee the politicization of public education for the foreseeable future. Liberal teachers' unions are the Trojan horse that Democrats use to brainwash tens of millions of America's children. They're basically a political action committee in our public schools doing the work of the Democratic Party. Not only does the NEA endorse teaching every extreme left-wing cause that the Democrats support, but the NEA gives approximately 97% of its political donations to the Democratic Party. In return for NEA loyalty, the Democratic Party opposes homeschooling, school choice, vouchers, charter schools, and shares allegiance with the NEA. The NEA and Democrats also support the organization Black Lives Matter. BLM is a self-defined Marxist organization that is for the deconstruction of the nuclear family. A donation to BLM also funnels money to Democrats through the organization Act Blue. The days of just voting for the right person are passé. We must hold elected officials accountable. We must all find our niche and plug in for the long haul. Talk to your children and grandchildren about the dangers of socialism and communism. And teachers, we need your help. If you oppose the Marxist indoctrination of students, you must organize and push back. Defund and decertify the Rapid City Education Association. Quit your memberships in the South Dakota Education Association and the National Education Association. And then form labor unions that demand education, not indoctrination. You know, when the left believes indoctrinating children is valuable and virtuous, audiovisual monitoring of classrooms is necessary to salvage public schools. During the Cold War, 1 million communists in Czechoslovakia ruled over 14 million people. And today, 94 million communists in China control the lives of 1.4 billion people. We are the majority. We must act like it if we intend to remain free. To stay silent and unengaged at such a time as this would be a free people's suicide. Anyhow, that's the end of, what I wanted to say. I didn't get to say it all. Some of that I might repeat in the future. I'm really going to focus in on not just critical race theory. There's some other things I want to say about it because I didn't get to say all that when I was in front of the school board. So I might repeat some of that in some videos. But the gender confusing our children, 1619 Project, white privilege, white rage. Dennis Prager, he made a good point. It's not white privilege. You know what? It is two-parent family privilege. It is education privilege. And, it's the Democrats that get rid of like charter schools that people of color want. Obama got rid of a charter school in D.C. that was having unbelievable results as soon as he went into office because he was beholden to the NEA. And these guys, this is all about politics. They don't care about educating your children. And a lot of these teachers, they join because the union says that, if you get in trouble, we're going to be here for you. They have no idea, I don't think, what's going on here. But you know what? As teachers, I want to bring it. I wish I had a bigger platform. I'd like to make it bring it to a national attention that the NEA and what's the other one? American Federation of Teachers, I think. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. They're both of them. Parents across the country condemning CRT, and they both came out. The leadership came out and said, We are going to support our members. We will legally support our members. We want them to teach CRT, and we're going to legally support them. Well, Biden wants CRT. This is about destroying a nation. This is about dividing the United States of America. This is huge, man. This is a big deal. And I don't care if you think I'm crazy, but this is reality. We've all seen how divided this is all this identity politics, all this crap is all pushed by Democrats and the left. I mean, I don't even like to say Democrats. These people aren't Democrats anymore. If you're a Democrat, get out of that party. Dave Rubin, he considers himself a libertarian or a classical liberal. He's actually a gay guy. He's on YouTube. He's on all kinds of different, podcasts and stuff. I mean, he got out of the Democratic Party because he says, I don't even recognize these people anymore. I mean, you guys, there's no moderates in that party, man. They try to say they're Democrats. They try to say they're liberals. They call themselves progressives. They're Marxist. And Marxism isn't progressive. It's failed every time it's been tried. 100 million people died under socialist countries, in the last 120 years. It's disgusting. People need to wake up. Anyhow, thanks for watching, and pay attention, get involved. You can't just talk about it. You got to get involved in your school boards, go to your city council meetings, write your senators, congressmen. Don't vote for anyone that's not actively fighting to save our nation, because that's where we're at right now. Anyhow, thanks for watching Dave's Worldview, and appreciate your time.